The world's largest naval exercises are now underway in Hawaii, and for the first time, China is participating. The U.S.-led event is held every 2 years. 23 nations and 25,000 sailors are taking part. 4 of China's ships are among the 53 vessels and 200 aircraft. Beijing's participation is seen as vital for establishing greater military ties with the U.S. and other navies as the region faces maritime territorial disputes. For analysis on the exercise, Franz-Stefan Gady joins us. He's a senior fellow at the East-West Institute. Franz, let me get your thoughts first on how people are viewing this. I jumped online just to look at a couple of headlines, and they range all over the place. One said, RIMPAC 2014, it's smart to invite China to participate in the world's largest maritime exercise. Then the other end of the spectrum, China is participating, so what? How do you view it?
Well, I think it's a clear signal that neither the United States nor the People's Republic of China are seriously interested in a deterioration of military relations between the two countries. Despite some recent setbacks, such as the indictment of the United States Justice Department of 5 PLA officers on the charges of cyber espionage and attacking American critical information infrastructure. In fact, I think it confirms that senior leadership, both military and civilian in both countries, are interested to deepen their military ties. I think the exercise is a symbolic gesture towards this end in many ways. What do I mean by a symbolic gesture? The United States' military is actually prohibited to engage too deeply with the Chinese People Liberation Army Navy by federal law. The U.S. Defense National Authorization Act of the fiscal year 2000 stipulates that the United States military cannot engage in exchanges that could cause, and now I quote directly, national security risks due to inappropriate exposure. So I think the gesture is highly symbolic. Also, you have to keep in mind that at the same time, in May 2014, China and Russia participated, held a joint naval exercise where China dispatched a much larger fleet. So all in all, to answer your question, I don't think it's very historic, but I do think it's a good step in the right direction to try to work out some of these issues, security issues, which this area of the world is suffering from.
You mentioned deeper ties. Extend that out for us. How does that change the relationship between these two countries, would you say?
Well, back in April 2014, U.S. Secretary of Defense Chuck Hagel agreed with his Chinese counterparts during Hagel's visit in Beijing to a number of exchanges and dialogues, among them an Army-to-Army dialogue and an Asia-Pacific dialogue. I think it's important that both countries keep their channels open, and that it will not. That this exchanges of views will hopefully help to diffuse situations, critical political situations, should there arise. And as you know, the South China Sea at this stage is a rather important subject in the bilateral relationship between the two countries, but most importantly also between U.S. allies in the regions and the People's Republic of China. So I also think, coming back to my point about the Sino-Russian naval exercise a couple of weeks ago, what was very interesting about that was that the exercise for the first time mixed up Russian and Chinese ships into 3 different battle groups, and it also contained naval drills that involved identifications of aircraft, which vicariously, I think, was meant to legitimize China's unilateral air defense identification zone, which is established despite criticism by the United States and its allies in the region in the East China Sea.
Good point. Franz, great conversation. Great of you to join us from New York. Appreciate it.